So this is about the Ghost Army of World War II. It was declassified in 1996, so not a lot of people know about it. And so my grandfather was a part of it, and so that's why it's a combination of just getting to know my family history and telling the story about these men who never got recognized, that I just really wanted to do a project and get that story out there.
What is a Ghost Army?
So the Ghost Army was a deceptive unit in World War II that used decoy tanks, fake radio messages, and sonic sounds, so recorded sounds of tanks and activity, to be able to fool the Germans, and they shortened the war and saved the lives by preventing conflict. I mean, this quote says it all, but they really had a dignity to their service, and they drew attention to themselves without wanting to just massacre the Germans. They weren't trying to pull attention just to kill all the Germans. They were pulling it away to save American lives, and by doing that, saving German lives by not having them fight the Americans. And I mean, they're so humble about it, but they did it and only 3 men died. Out of 1,100, almost on the front lines all the time, pulling enemy attention to themselves with rubber tanks, never fired a shot basically. And they only had 3 men died, and one of them was more of an accident than war inflicted, and the other one was just a stray shell than getting in the front lines fighting Germans. And I mean, they didn't kill anyone, and it was just amazing what they did. It's the true triumph of this.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Madeline Christianson's exhibit on the Ghost Army won the Senior Level World War II History Prize at National History Day. Congressman Ben McAdams of Utah recently entered the story of Madeline's great-grandfather into the official congressional record. Here's video from the congressman's office as he reads the entry to World War II veteran Sergeant Stanley Nance.
In May 1944, 1,100 U.S. military men joined ranks to form what would be called the Ghost Army. Composed largely of artists, this unit had unusual orders not to avoid detection by enemy forces, but to actively attract attention through an ingenious optical illusion. One of them was Staff Sergeant Stanley Nance, Signal Company Special of the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops. The Ghost Army's tactics were to impersonate other Allied units using inflatable tanks and jeeps made of sticks and burlap to make the enemy believe that large factions of soldiers were on Omaha Beach and surrounding areas after D-Day. Massive speakers were mounted on the back of military vehicles, blasting the ambient noises of a much larger unit. They sounded like they were coming from the battlefield, but in fact had been recorded months before in Fort Knox, Kentucky. Kept a secret until 1985, the story of the Ghost Army and those in its ranks serves as a heroic tale of the young Americans' bold actions to defend freedom. Decades later, Staff Sergeant Nance's great-granddaughter, Madeline Christianson, told his story through a history project, which recently won the World War II History Award at the National History Competition. Her project is an amazing recreation of a story of skill, courage, and triumph, unique in the annals of history. As we prepare to celebrate Independence Day 2019, we honor 2 extraordinary generations of Utahns: the soldier who helped defeat tyranny during World War II, and his great-granddaughter who is keeping the story of heroism alive.